Nowadays, everybody has a camera in their pocket capable of taking good photographs of the northern lights and the southern lights. In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to use an iPhone to photograph the aurora. I'm using an iPhone 15 Pro here, but in theory you can use any iPhone, including future iPhones, barring the fact they don't hopefully change the iOS in any meaningful way. So, okay, let's jump in. So the first thing you want to do is go to your settings on your phone and scroll down to camera. You want to go into formats here and you want to click photo mode. Make sure this is in 24 megapixels. Go back to format, come down here to Pro default. Make sure this Pro RAW setting is toggled on. You can then go into Pro default and choose the option that works for you. This allows your phone to take a photograph up to 48 megapixels. So a lot better than the standard if you don't toggle this option, but there are still a few choices we have to make here. The best option is Pro RAW Max. This takes a raw image, which allows you to edit it in ways that you can't edit a regular JPEG. So if you want to take a serious photo, this is the best option, but bear in mind, as you can see here, this is 75 megabytes for just one photograph at this 48 megapixels. So if you have 10 photographs, that's 3/4 of a gig already. So this will fill up your phone memory very, very quick. If you don't want to do any sort of semi-professional editing, then this option will be fine for you, JPEG Max. This just takes a JPEG up to 48 megapixels and a more reasonable 10 megabytes per image. When this is done, you want to move across to your camera. This button in the top right says JPEG Max. This will only be visible if you have toggled on that setting that I just showed you. You want to make sure that this is on. You also want to make sure your live photograph is off. The next thing that you can do, you either want to swipe up with your finger or click this arrow at the very top of the iPhone, and this reveals this menu of different photo settings at the bottom of the frame here. You want to make sure your flash is turned off. This is very, very important. Live photograph off, as I said before. You also want to make sure you are not zoomed in or zoomed out. This changes the lens that your camera is using. Make sure you're just on that regular 1x zoom. Now, the most important setting you need to consider is this second one here, this sort of moon setting. This won't be visible to you if it's too bright around where you are. So if you want to test this in the daytime, just cover up your phone with your hand, or at nighttime, this should be visible. This is the exposure time. This is the length of time that your phone will be taking that photograph. So if you take an exposure of 5 seconds, which is the auto one here, this will continuously be gathering light for 5 seconds. So you need to make sure your phone is perfectly still for that duration. We have a sliding scale here, slides all the way up to a maximum of 30 seconds. Your phone will only let you do this if it is stationary. If it's handheld or wobbling around even a little bit, it won't reveal this 30-second option. And the longest it will let you do is 10 seconds if it's wobbling around too much. But you can see there's some other settings here. There's 5 seconds, there's off, and depending on the brightness around you, it will give you settings of 3 seconds, 10 seconds, so on. This is a dynamic setting option that it gives you. But as I said, you need to have your phone steady for this entire time. So if you can only hold your phone steady for 5 seconds, go for that. If you can only do it steady for 10 seconds, you can try that, but that might be tricky. But if you can just lay it up against a rock or a bench or something, or a tripod, ideally, then you can take those 30-second images. And this is the main thing you need to consider. The next thing that we have, let's just change that to 30 seconds there. The next thing we want to think about, and this is sort of optional, this one, is your exposure. This is how sensitive your camera is to light. You might find that your northern lights pictures are totally overexposed and saturated during a 30-second exposure, depending how bright the aurora is above you. So you may want to lower your exposure slightly. You could raise it slightly. This all depends on your situation. The last thing to think about if you are using a tripod, just set a 3-second self timer. This is because if your phone is on that tripod and you click capture, it's going to start that 30-second exposure straight away and might catch a bit of that phone wobble from when you're pushing that button. But if you just set a 3-second timer, you click go, by the time the phone stops wobbling, then the photograph will begin to take that long exposure. So there we go. Combining all these things together, you can then just click capture and it will take that photograph for you and hopefully give you good photos of the northern lights above you. Maybe you're going on holiday to see the northern lights, or maybe the northern lights are coming to you in a solar storm or something similar. Here, right now, as I post this, there is a severe geomagnetic storm ongoing, so I'm eagerly awaiting sunset to put these tips to good use. If you want further advice on how to see the northern lights in the future, when and where these events are happening, follow along for that. Happy aurora chasing and good luck.